So I wanted to make this video about 3 stories I had saw. The first 2 are on boundingintocomics.com, which again I would highly recommend checking out that site if you don't every day. The first story is called, let's see, Marvel stands angry at Marvel for promoting What If's Captain Carter. What If series, dropping episodes on Wednesdays and stuff. And if you don't know what If is, it's literally, it's what if this happened? What if that happened? What if, Black Panther became Star-Lord? What if, in this case, what if Peggy Carter became Captain America, or Captain Britain, I guess in this case, as you can see from her armor. But anyway, they're upset about the fact that what they did is, on the Captain America Twitter account, they changed the name to Captain Carter, and they added her picture. And a lot of people are upset because they removed, Sam's picture. As you can see, so here's a tweet about it. See Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers in a whole new way. This Wednesday, when the first episode of Marvel Studios' What If starts streaming on Disney Plus. Everything, okay, So these people are upset. Here's one with like a 30-second clip and everything. But as you can see, there's a bunch of people who are upset. Marvel couldn't wait to replace Sam Wilson with a white face. And it's like, oh my god, it's never enough. It's never enough, is it? And here's another one. Now, of course, I'm sure that there's many more people who are fine with this or like it. So, take it for what it's will. But it's just the fact that there's this many idiots out here. The way that Marvel is doing more to show off Captain Carter than they've been doing to show off Sam Wilson, who's actually Captain America, is something else. Here's another one. Marvel with, the FATWS. We have a black cap, folks. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Marvel 5 minutes later, and we're going to erase Sam Wilson from What If and give the Cap mantle to an upper-class British white woman that was in charge of recruiting Nazis. And it's like, it's just, it's just exhausting. These kinds of dopes. But yet, these are the people that Marvel is going after. These are the type of people that are going after, that you're going after when you're, your Disney's, hell, even your Warner Brothers, to a degree. All these various places, your Netflix and so on and such forth, they're all going after these people, these crazy lunatics who will never be happy. Because he even mentions here at the end of the story, and of course here's more bitching. Here's more and more bitching, people. Here's what it used to look like. Well, they had changed it recently, and people love it, and it's going crazy. And they said, then you got people in the comments and stuff. I won't highlight any of the comments specifically, but they bring up that when they change it back, there'll be some feminists who are upset that they're giving it away to a man instead of a woman. Just ridiculous, exhausting, never good enough. That's basically the conclusions that you can draw. I'll move on. The next story is Stranger Things producer Sean Levy reveals the show has an endgame. The trailer for season 4 just dropped the other day. I'm interested, but the thing is, one of the biggest problems is the show it's moving fairly slowly, in terms of like the overall ideas, but also they just keep repeating everything. Like season 2 was very similar to season 1. It was well done, and I liked it. I've liked all 3 seasons, although season 3 was the one I liked the least, just because of some of the woke shit they started throwing in there, but also just some of the sitcom stuff with like Eleven and Mike and all this romantic quote unquote drama bullshit. And it's like, man, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff, But it's also always the same too, because like Eleven has to save the day, and it's like that was cool in the first 2 seasons maybe, but now it's just getting the same stuff over and over. But it basically says that they do indeed have an end game. The brothers have an end in sight. Well, which number one, season 4, which will come out 2022. These kids are growing up really fast. Obviously, because it takes a couple years sometimes for these new seasons to come out. It's like, man, kids change a lot from those ages. So it just really makes you wonder, like, how, if season 4 isn't the end, it's got to be season 5. But even then, it's like, are they going to film 4 and 5 back to back? Or how are they going to do it? Because otherwise, I mean, there's a lot of just change that happens with the actors. But it isn't happening as much with the characters because the characters still act stupid. You know, like younger people, basically. But we'll see. I mean, the producer, he also talks about they're interested in potential spin-offs, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure Netflix is, because they're wanting hits. Because a lot of the crap they're putting out isn't connecting with people as much. Like Stranger Things connected with people and became a big hit because of the '80s aesthetic. But now it's like stuff like He-Man and She-Ra and stuff. It's like those aren't connecting as much for whatever reason. I mean, I think because the shows stink. But whatever. Anyway, I'll move on to the third story real quick. This is from thegamer.com. The idea of a new South Park game is already exhausting. The news the other day was that Paramount Plus is giving Trey Parker and Matt Stone like $900 million or something for however many, what is it, 9 more seasons and 14 movies from South Park. So there's going to be a lot of South Park. That also includes games and stuff, of course. But this is from, what is it, Jade King. South Park has always taken pride in punching down on people, a reputation that justifies much of its risque humor by saying that nobody's off limits. The left, right, center, and every point on the political spectrum is ripe for parody. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, gay, straight, cis, transgender, or anything else. They'll make a joke out of you and claim that's just what the show does. But that balanced approach doesn't work if many of the groups you shit on don't have the same rights as others. Once you cross that line, you're feeding impressionable viewers the belief that hating on these people is okay. That's of course that's what she would say, that the balanced approach. How dare you? If they just made fun of your disadvantaged groups and stuff, she would complain about it and say, "This is bullshit. What are you doing?" But making fun of everybody, well, that's also bullshit. Because white people and straight people have more rights. And of course, if you ask this idiot, what rights do white people have that others don't have? What right do straight people have that others don't have? What rights do cis people have that others don't have? She would say, she'd hem and haw and all this bullshit, which is what always happens. These dopes, they can't come up with anything coherent, anything remotely resembling facts and evidence to back up the things that they're saying. They're always going on their feelings. And of course, she goes on and bitches more about recent seasons took aim at transgender athletes, seeing a classic wrestler suddenly deciding to identify as a woman to cheat the system. It's a lazy take on a real world story where trans people are demonized simply for being who they are. Like, real quick, when it comes to like trans people, I'm all for them being whoever they are. Just be who you are. That's cool. That's fine. I got no problem with that whatsoever. But when you start talking about in sports and stuff, trans women have a biological advantage over biological women. They have they have an inherent advantage over biological women. They just do, because those years you spent as a man help. It builds your body in a different way that biological women do not have. I am not of the belief that, men are better than women or anything like that. But when it comes to physicality, when it comes to strength, speed, toughness, etc., men are superior to women. There's just no question. To deny that is to deny reality. You look at you can look at up and down the track and field records, the speed records, the shot put, all these kinds of things. Anything involving strength, any sport involving strength, or involving speed or size or whatever, men would always win over women. I'm talking about professional athletes here. I'm not talking about, if you get the greatest woman athlete of all time, and have her fight Joe Blow, who's been, drinking beer on the couch for 20 years, but he's gonna come off, he's gonna come in off the bar stool and beat her. You know, there's times he would though, but there's also times where she would win. The female athlete, because female athletes can do some amazing things. I've seen women who have given birth, and then a couple years later, they're doing these great things. I mean, we see it in track and field, we see it in the WNBA and stuff. It's like they do some awesome, amazing things, but the reality is that they can't beat men. You take the 10th man, the 12th man off the bench in an NBA team, and he would dominate the WNBA. Just completely dominate the WNBA. And that's not a knock on women. It's just that's reality. Anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Jesus Christ, I've gone almost 11 minutes with this shit. I'll go ahead and just wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.